Hi, I'm Joey.T.Cartoon.P, and you're watching the cartoon Palooza. On today's episode, we're going to do something different. We're going to start a new segment I like to call Crossing the Line. Instead of taking a look at a cartoon, I'm going to take a look at a live-action film that's based on a cartoon, hence the term Crossing the Line. But before we go into today's episode, I like to talk about a certain award show that happened some time ago. You know what I'm talking about? The Razzies! This is actually an award show that doesn't honor the best films, but the worst films. The worst writing, the worst acting, worst directing, you name it. And today's film just so happens to have garnered 7 nominations. This pretty much makes it the worst film of 2010. So bad that it actually made Vampires Suck look, No, that movie still sucks, but you know what I'm talking about. What film could this be? None other than M. Night Shyamalan's adaptation of the popular Nicktoon, The Last Airbender. The premise of the film is much like the cartoon, where you have people called benders who can control the elements such as earth, water, air, and fire. Either you can control one element, none of the elements, or all of the above. And if you can control all of them, you're pretty much the only guy called the Avatar. Yeah, insert Na'vi joke here. And much like that film, war breaks out, the firebenders start controlling other lands and taking benders prisoner, once the Avatar goes away. However, that all changes when a waterbender and her brother find the Avatar in a block of ice with a 6-legged buffalo that can fly. Naturally. The young boy is named Aang, and he's an airbender. Since the Fire Lords knew that the next Avatar would be an airbender, they handled the problem over tea and killing them all! This makes Aang our titular character, and with his ragtag team, go on an adventure so that he can learn all 4 elements and bring peace to the land. But the Fire Lords are aware of his existence, and hot on the gang's trail is none other than the banished Prince Zuko. Played none other by the Slumdog Millionaire himself, Dev Patel. He spends his time trying to hunt the Avatar by lame choreography, flaring his nostrils, and overacting. Though, if you ask me, I prefer if he just captured him just like he captured his brother Salim. And that's pretty much our story, with some Fire Lords trying to capture a moon spirit, Aang learning waterbending, and there's this one scene where Aang starts a minor revolution among captured earthbenders who are trapped in a ghetto surrounded by their element. Isn't that kind of like trapping a pyromaniac at a gas station and giving him matches? Otherwise, that's pretty much our movie, and to be honest with you, I can see why a lot of people hated it. So you'd figure in an action-adventure fantasy film, the script could be generic, but at least it'll still hold my attention. That is, if the action is phoned in, the fantasy's uninspired, and the adventure's more contrived than a Mad Lib safari. The pacing's slow and the acting's really terrible. Seriously, where do they find these actors? On the lot of Twilight? Oh.
What a twist!
There's this annoying theme in the film where characters get a change in vowel or an added accent that really is pointless when you think about it. Aang is called Ung, Sokka is called Sokka, and even Avatar was changed to Avatar. So to be fair, I think that was done for other reasons. But still, it's useless. Guess what, guys? I'm gonna go for a more mystical approach and start calling myself Joey.T.Cartoon.P. Ooh! It's a disappointment for me, who's familiar with the show, so I can understand why hardcore fans would treat this movie like the plague. I could watch this show out of continuity and still enjoy it. Instead of having to watch the last episode, I can pretty much figure out how it's gonna go. Aang is gonna bring peace to the land and defeat the Fire Lords. It pretty much goes for every other action-adventure film like Star Wars, Harry Potter, heck, even Kill Bill. Kill Bill's title is the end of the movie.
What a twist!
It's not the ending I'm looking forward to when I'm watching the episodes. It's how they get there, the suspense that keeps me engaged. It's like M. Night Shyamalan's giving me the Spark Notes treatment of the show, and that's the last thing we need. And it's kind of a shame because M. Night Shyamalan's not a hack director as everybody's making him out to be. I still think he's got the potential of banging out one more really good film like The Sixth Sense again.
What a twist!
If there was one thing I did like seeing was Commander Iroh. Yeah, his name's Iroh in the film, but screw it, he's playing Iroh. You know, in a film and bad writing, there's that one guy who seems to take it seriously and make it his own? Well, that's this guy. I guess it's because he's a well-written character in the show. Just for the sheer fact that you got a good guy who's on the dark side always makes for an interesting character to be. Yeah, he's okay in the film, but seriously, appearance-wise, he does look like he spent the night hanging out with Charlie Sheen.
Your anger and your hate, I think, is coming off as erratic to people.
Passion, my passion. It's all
Okay,
passion.
your passion
Yes.
is coming off as erratic
Right,
to people.
well, you borrow my brain for 5 seconds and just be like, dude, can't handle it. Unplug this Yeah, because it fires in a way that is, I don't know, maybe not from this particular terrestrial realm.
But for whatever causes, I can understand why this film was considered the worst of 2010. So for my final consensus, I'd forget about it and watch the cartoon instead. And since we're on the subject of the worst film of 2010, would you really consider a harmless action-adventure film as the worst, when your other film features this? Yeah, I thought so. I'm Joey.T.Cartoon.P, and all this crappy live action makes me want to watch some cartoons again.